What's up, HRV? I'm Zoe Lautrette.
And I'm Grace Gurton. Welcome to What's Up, our weekly show about what's going on at the high school.
2 weeks ago, the Talon published a video that told the stories of several HRV students who chose not to report their story of sexual assault.
The video brought up many questions. How does school administration respond to allegations of sexual assault? What resources are available for victims?
Talon reporter Eileen Castro sat down with guidance counselor Jennifer Schlosser, assistant principal Columba Jones, campus resource officer Joel Ives, and principal Rich Polkinghorn to get some answers.
Eva Jones recently published a video telling the stories of HRV students who have been victims of sexual assault. What were your reactions?
Well, for me, it was definitely difficult to watch. It was brought up a lot of different emotions. Number one, as a father, right? I have kids, and imagining one of my kids in that situation was, it's not an easy thing to even contemplate. So that was difficult. But then, as a law enforcement officer as well, it was. There were certainly some questions raised, in my own mind about the way things might have been handled. And that's also not easy for me to contemplate either, because I don't want to ever think that anybody else in my profession maybe isn't handling these situations in the way that I think they should be handled.
I felt like hearing the stories was really powerful, because it really personalizes the victim or the incident in a way that when you talk about sexual assault, kind of generally, it's a topic, but when you hear a story, it becomes more real. So that, in that sense, I thought that the video it brought like a certain depth to it. And I would echo the things that Deputy Ives said too. I have like 1,400 students in my care here. It's hard to hear that kind of stuff. It's difficult to hear.
Yeah, I would echo the same feelings on that. One thing that came to my mind was, wow, where are these? What does their day look like? Who are they connecting with? Who in their life could have been there to make them feel like they could be approached by something like that? So it just made me wonder, do all our students have someone that they can connect to? How do we help make those relationships strong enough so that we can empower students to express themselves and let us know of things that are going on? Share that.
What is the statute of limitations for prosecution of sexual assault?
Well, that's a great question. There's some variation between the different levels of crimes and ages, but in general, for anybody who is under 18, they have until they turn 30 to initiate prosecution. Again, there are some variations, but that's a general rule of thumb.
And what steps should be taken if a person hasn't decided to come out and report yet?
Well, that's a really important one that I want to try to do everything I can to make sure that students are aware that there's no pressure to decide right away whether or not they want to report. However, evidence, if a report eventually is made, is important. It's crucial. So at the hospital, at the emergency room, which I highly advise that anybody who's the victim of a sexual assault go into the emergency room anyway, whether they're intending to make a report or not, because it was a violent incident and they need to be seen by a doctor. But there is the possibility of having a sexual assault kit done, which is a collection of evidence, and for that kit to be done anonymously. And this would allow for a clean custody of evidence so that there's no disputing later on if the person should choose to come forward. But we have the evidence, it's preserved, and they just get given a number that is corresponding to that kit, and they can come forward at a later date.
And what are some resources for victims at the school? So, who can they go to here?
So at the school, obviously, any adult staff member at the school is a resource for any student, and whoever they feel comfortable talking to or being around. obviously their school counselor, like we can get them hooked up in the right direction depending on the situation. We also have the school-based health center that has not only a nurse practitioner but also 2 therapists who can help students work through the process. Oftentimes we find kids who, you know, they don't want to report right away, possibly, but they do need some help dealing with what happened. And so I think using those resources is really important. And then outside of school, we have the Helping Hands program, and that information is in our restrooms, like on the back of the doors. Have that there so students can contact that directly. Also, the teen-to-teen texting can get resources for them, maybe out, like once again, like outside of the school if they don't want to, you know, intermix those kinds of things. And then also our, you know, Mr. Ives, our deputy on campus, is a great resource, or our public health nurse. There are a lot of resources here on campus for those students. So encourage them to use those resources because that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I think everything you just said, plus the Safe Schools tip line.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
to
the
make
tip
a
line.
report if you're a victim or if you have knowledge of someone else being a victim, that place to report.
You know, we have those posters up, those see something, say something posters, and that's not just about, you know, criminal activity on campus or whatever. It's any time that you feel like something needs to be brought up. That's what it's there for.
You can watch the video Why I Didn't Report at our website, hrvtalent.com.
Senior Jamie Reardon is an accomplished artist who was recently admitted to one of the nation's top art schools, Parsons School of Design in New York.
What makes her art even more incredible is that she creates it using only one of her hands.
We talked to Jamie about her art and how she creates it.
I'm Jamie Reardon and I'm in 12th grade.
Yeah, and so you're an artist, yeah?
Yes.
So what happened to you? What school did you get into?
I got into Parsons School of Design, and if you don't know where that is, that's in New York City.
And what was your reaction when you found out that you got in?
I literally cried because, in fact, it was the first school I applied to, the only school I wanted to go to, and the school that I've told everybody I was going to go to for like 4 years.
And so can you describe why it's maybe more difficult for you to do art than most people?
I had a stroke before I was born, and so that means I can't use my right hand. It literally looks like I have a broken wrist. And I also have occasional seizures, and so it kind of like affects my art because I can't hold things like everybody can, and like my art isn't as detailed sometimes or straight. And like sometimes like if like a teacher criticizes me about that, like my lines, I'm just like, well.
Yeah. Have people treated you differently because of your disability?
Not really. They've been like a little bit like, do you need help? Do you need help? Do you need help?
Yeah.
But other than that, not really.
Yeah, and is your family supportive of your art and you?
Definitely.
And who would you say is your biggest influence?
It's kind of crazy, but I'm not going to say my family. I would say the musician Boy George. He's from the band Culture Club, and his music's really awesome because like in the 80s it was kind of like he's the victim and like everything's like all about him, but now it's like he's peaceful, and it's just like amazing. And he's also he designs his own clothes too, so like it has an impact on my art because like it's like he does I live by one of his quotes, which is dance like no one's watching, love like no one broke your heart, and dress like every day is like Halloween.
All right, and then do you have like, how would you describe your own art style?
I would probably say it's a mixture of abstract and like detailed and intricate because I don't really.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you. This has been Nice.
That's our show for the week. Thanks for watching.
We'll leave you with the quiz. Katie and Maritza got some old pictures of staff members and asked students if they could name that teacher.
Come back next week and we'll tell you what's up.
Toktai. Mr. Toktai.
That's Toktai.
That's Mr. Toktai.
Toktai.
Miss Ton.
I don't know.
Miss Mudry.
Heidi Mudry.
Harjo. Harjo.
That's probably Harjo or something. Is that Mr. Case?
Mr. Case?
Oh, Notaboom.
Miss Brown. I don't know.
Let's see. Shauna Ramsey and Dave Case.
Then I had Mr. Ames.
No, that was like Mr. Ramsey.
Oh. Oh, was that Mr. Kelly? Keller? Oh my god. Oh, Mr. Lorenzen?
Oh, is that Mr. Kelly?
That one's Harjo.
Butcher.
I don't know his name, but I know who that is, though.
Names. I don't think I can get this one.
Oh. I have no idea.
Mr. Mallon?
Is that Fultz?
Oh, Fultz. Yes, I think that.
Mr. Notaboom. That's Notaboom.
Oh, Notaboom. Ramsey? Webster? I don't know.
I feel like I should know this. No.
I have no idea.
Looks familiar, but I can't get a name to that one.
Oh, that's Miss Birdsell. Ooh. That's Miss Birdsell. Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
I guess that was Miley.
Nope.
Oh, that's Mr. Mallon. A long time ago.